This is an important question where we talk about the application and how an indicator works. So let me just give you a brief background. Say for example, there's a container where you have a acid and you are putting the titrating base from a burette over here, drop by drop. In this mixture only you are putting few drops of indicators. Indicators themselves are basically very weak acid or base. So understand what is going to happen. Let's take this example as a referring example. So it says an acid base indicator which is a weak acid. So indicator is a acid, right? So we say pKIN, dissociation of an indicator constant is pKIN, sorry, just a minute, make corrections over here. This is pKIN, dissociation constant for indicator P scale, this value is 5.45. Now, if we say indicator is of the form HIN, it will dissociate to give us what? H plus plus IN minus form. Uh, if I just write the expression for KIN, I will get H plus into IN minus upon HIN. Remember, it's for the case of an indicator. If I take log and all those things, I will say that the neighboring surrounding pH would be equal to pKIN plus log of this will be IN minus basic form upon acidic form. This is the measurement of pH from the indicator perspective. But then indicator is placed in a container where titration is happening, and the titration is happening between acetic acid and NaOH. Now, if we see the pH of surrounding from this titration perspective, as you go on putting NaOH slightly, there would be undissociated or unreacted acetic acid, and few of the acid would have reacted with NaOH to form the salt, which means this would be the case of a buffer in a same medium. So if I look at it from the buffer perspective, I will say this will be having the formula pKa plus log salt, which is sodium acetate, salt CH3COONA upon acid, which is CH3COOH. So basically we can see the measurement pH from the indicator frame of reference or from the acid base titration frame of reference. Now what does the question says? At what concentration ratio of sodium acetate to acetic acid would indicator show a color halfway between those of acid and conjugate base? Remember that the endpoint of titration would not be exactly the endpoint of the indicator. So when this is half, when this and this entity is half, it is not compulsory that this and sodium acetate should be also in equal molar ratio. So what they're saying, the color changes halfway between those of acid. Matlab, we are seeing this from the point of view of the indicator. So HIN and IN, this would be same, which means this should go to 0 because log 1 is equal to 0. And now we put the value. This is 5.45. pKa is 4.75, and we have log salt upon acid, right? So we can see from here that log salt upon acid, this is 5.45 minus 4.75. This is 0. This is 7. And we know that antilog of 0.7, antilog of 0.7 is basically 5. Log 5 is log 10 by 2, right? So clearly we can see that this is equal to 0.7. Therefore we can see that the ratio required will be antilog of 0.7, which is equal to 5. Hence the ratio should be 5:1. From the objective perspective, its answer should be C, option number C.